What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shan Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
Chris Abacon.
What's going on, everybody?
And Daniel Acevedo.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on? So welcome to Tuesday's episode. So definitely check out our podcast throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask a CISSP as they come along, right? It's not always an episode, but we have at least one a month, if not two or more. And then Fridays, everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this next article comes from usatoday.com, written by Kathleen Wong. And the title of this is Authorities Use Tesla Data to Track Cybertruck Before Bombing, Raising Privacy Concerns. So this is a little misleading, right? So yes, authorities did use the data, but they were allowed to use it from Tesla, right? So it's not like the authorities already had access to the data, right? Like Elon was like, hey, here's all this information, the telemetry data and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And from there, they were able to backtrack, right? They were able to say, okay, we see this at the Tesla charging station. We see this information in the vehicle before, the explosion happened. So even though we do have instances where law enforcement is out there doing things with, like, what do they call the antenna things? Is it stingers? What's it called?
I think they are called stingers.
Stingers?
Sure,
Yeah,
I think so, yeah, actually.
You have stuff like that's going on. It's a little misleading in this case. Yes, police did use it, but it was based off, Elon and Tesla saying, yeah, we're going to work with you to give you this information. So not still may rub some people the wrong way, that information is out there. And I think kind of the big thing of it is that a lot of that information is being collected by Tesla, and you may not know it, right? But they're not the only ones. Believe that, right? Like the cars that we drive nowadays, right? Like if you get a car that's in the 2000s, so Daniel, you might be safe, man. You right on the cusp there. Like if you get a car that's like in the 2000s, it's almost a guarantee it's a computer that's just like logging everything, right? So that information is out there. You have to understand that all those amenities that you enjoy in your vehicle, that you're like, oh, it does that automatically for me. Cool. It knows just by having my key in my pocket, it's going to adjust the seat and do all this, that, and the third. And that's what's out there. You know what I mean? But Daniel, what's your thoughts on this, man?
So there's a lot of privacy advocates, I'll say nicely, to not call them other names, that are probably more up in arms in this kind of thing. The way I think about privacy to an extent is I don't have anything to hide, right? So things like this don't really bother me as much, because if you have my data, you ain't going to get anything interesting anyway. It's just going to be me looking at video game stuff, anime, like nerdy crap, NIST 171, like what's this control? How can I word this differently? Now it's more like, this Windows OS is booting this weird way, like, and I've done these things. Why isn't it working? Just me talking to ChatGPT about that kind of stuff. So that's where my lane of privacy concerns always fall into that. If you don't really have anything to hide, all these companies are getting your data one way or the other. We're talking about Tesla and how it's using the telemetry and all that stuff. If the dude had Google Maps on his phone, they're going to get that kind of same stuff anyway. He doesn't have to be using it. The phone rides in the car. You can geolocate and map his route. If there's a warrant and the FBI comes to you and they need to get that information to map how he got from point A to point B, right? These things exist already. Now they're built into the cars to a certain extent. We talk about this a lot on this show. Every ease of life thing, or every amenity, or anything that makes your life easier, or an advance in technology, usually comes with a lot of loopholes or footings for the bad guys to get in. And this is just kind of a case in that it showcases that in this aspect, except it's the law enforcement using it to try to track where this guy was going from point A to point B, being I think Denver to Vegas. But Chris, what do you think? Do you think I'm too lenient on my thoughts and privacy concerns, or should I be more up in arms?
I think this is like, I want to reference my previous article. I think it's still developing, guys. We're still developing. No, but seriously, I think your opinion's valid, right? There is the other opinion where, for those people that want to be off the grid, or they don't want to give their information to anybody or anything, I think it's an untapped market from the car industry, right? All of the new cars out there, they're so standardized throughout the board. You'll see the same dashboard on various models and levels of a specific manufacturer, right? You look at BMW, for example, they've got their iDrive system, that same huge dashboard on the newer cars. you'll find that anywhere from their 2 series all the way to their 8 series, right? So it's that's just how it is. And all those, like Daniel was saying, those are basically computers, right? Everything that controls our HVAC, the head up, the displays, your lights that are smart because they sense the time of the day, or it's dark out there. Or I think a positive from the improvements in cars are the safety features, right? It can detect the car in front of you, or adapt the cruise control, things like that. All that radar technology, it's pretty cool, and it needs a computer to be able to use that. But I think there's a market out there. Me being one of them, is like, I want a simple car. It's naturally aspirated, manual transmission. It's got a radio and an aux cord, right? That's it. Like you know, and I kind of miss those days, because simple vehicles, they last longer and they're more reliable. But that kind of car isn't what's going to get a person to buy another one in 4 or 5 years, or release another one in 4 or 5 years. It's not a profitable venture to make reliable cars, right? Everything's got a shelf life.
And those cars are going to be harder to find. Like, that's
exactly.
They're going to be harder to find. They're going to be harder to maintain, right? Because the corporations that made them, they're not still out there making the parts for those vehicles from then, right? Like they're not out there making the antennas anymore, right? For your radio, or whatever. They're doing the shark fins now, right? Which
right.
seems to have.
So yeah, I think there is going to be a renaissance of classic cars. Like the other day, I saw a 1980s like Mercedes convertible. It just looked like a box, right? But I thought it was such a cool car. I'm like, man, that is because it was well kept, right? And maybe I'll be looking at one of those in the future. To me, like a classic car is going to be like a 90s car now, right? Because that's how old we're getting there. Because I think, like Ryan was saying in an earlier conversation, 2030 isn't that too far off, right? I think 20 years makes something classic, right? Or maybe 25.
25.
So 90s is freaking classic cars. That's crazy. Let me go get that Pontiac Aztec.
Just want to say, the Aztec is a classic car. Ugliest classic car.
So think about it. We're in 2025, so it's 2000 now. So think about that. You're not even in the 90s.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's great.
Those cars were not great at
for sure.
Visually. Like when you think classic car, like you think of style and elegance. Like now, not in the 2000s. They were very much just the Cybertrucks of today. Right,
indeed.
Just ugly. So I think people's fear of losing of this being a major loss of privacy is a little bit skewed. You've already lost that privacy, right? Like how many dash cams have you viewed recently? How many gas station parking lot videos have you watched, right? People just acting a fool. Like you're under full surveillance 24/7, not just from your phone in your home, which is a surveillance device, but just I think at one point they were saying you got your picture taken 40 times in a day. It's probably exponentially higher now. Like there's cameras everywhere, there's CCT everywhere. Everything's taking a picture. We talked about the riots that happened shortly after George Floyd and the January 6th stuff. A lot of those people were caught due to somebody else's device, right? They were able to pinpoint people based upon the images and videos they took of their friends or their I don't know what accomplices. There you go. Who were doing the nefarious things? They're able to quickly find them and discern where they're doing something good or bad. But for those of you who are like, well, I'm not going to buy a Cybertruck or something else that's more modern because it's tracking me, they've been putting black boxes or what they call EDRs, so event data recorders in vehicles since 2013. So if you own a Ford, a Chrysler, GM, Toyota, Nissan, or Honda since 2013, it is a standard, and it tracks your speed, acceleration, braking, steering, airbag deployment, impact force, GPS location, error codes, warning lights, door and seatbelt status. So it's everything but a camera that's currently potentially in your vehicle, right? If you own one of those, and I think it's illegal to remove it. I don't think you can just rip it out of your vehicle. I could be wrong though. Like the same thing with like pulling a tag off a mattress. I don't know if that is about. I don't know if that's you as the owner or you as the sailor, right? The person who's selling the product. I don't know which one it will be at fault for removing it. But I say all to say, yeah, they tracked this guy from station to station, but had he had a gas powered vehicle, they would still find this video anyway. It's just been a little bit harder than Tesla just saying full sale. They probably said give me the VIN number, right? Or the GPS transponder serial or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a lot quicker to find where he was at and what he was doing. But through old school methods, they would have found it anyway, right? They would have went to every gas station and they would have combed it and found it. Every time he got his plate hit by a toll camera, they would have found him, right? Like, so regardless. And then the cell phone that survived and all that other good stuff. So you're not losing more privacy. If anything, it's just becoming more expedient to put it all together. So
That's exactly what I was going to say too. I was like, it's not that it's not there. It's just faster to get to them.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I don't really have too much of a beef with this one. You've already lost this set of privacy. If anything, it just makes it that much faster to find the bad guys. So call me big surveillance if you want to. All right, it is what it is.
And what's crazy about this is that like we talk about how over in the EU they're very good about the privacy stuff, right? And what's
Yeah.
out there. Isn't it London that has the most CC cameras
Yes.
in a square mile
Yeah.
or something like that? It's like in London.
London will arrest you for making a comment on social media. Screw that. You know.
Yeah.
that shows you the difference there.
It's very 1984 over there. Like
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of pictures. Like people ask AI to create it, and they had birds with cameras for faces, and every light pole had a camera. So that's how bad it or egregious it is over there. But again, it's for public safety, right? As at least that's what they say. If you're not doing anything like very, very wrong, then you should be good. But that pretty much wraps up for this show. So definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. Again, Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask a CISSP, Fridays everything else. Hit us up by all the websites that go by our name, or give me personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me pretty much on all the social media platforms, but LinkedIn is where I'm most responsive. Where can they find you, Daniel?
On LinkedIn under my name, Daniel Acevedo.
And Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Chris Avcon, last name spelled A Bacon.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.